Three, two, one. Welcome to the SaaS Pulse Show. My name is Micheal Bertoni, and I'm the founder and CEO of SaaS Talent. And I am so excited today. I have a great longtime tech company, 27 years, right, Tom? I mean, it's 27.
Sure,
He's, I don't know
sure.
if you could call him a startup anymore. Tom
I was 8 when I
Sheahan,
started it. I'm just kidding.
he's been a startup for 27 years. Tom Sheahan, he's the CEO of Red Oxygen, who basically invented SMS messaging platforms, right? So, all those text messages you get when they're integrated, you get these text messages from SaaS companies and tech companies. A lot of them are probably using Red Oxygen. So it's great to have you here, Tom.
Great to be here.
Yeah, so great. Let's jump right into it. So everybody has a superhero backstory, Tom, and I bet you have one. I know you have a superhero backstory. So what I want to understand is what brought you to your company? I mean, you've been there 27 years now. How did you come up with the idea? Like, how did this all happen? Think back.
All right. So I've always been in the interactive communication market. So when I first got out of college, I was selling semiconductors to startups, and one of my startups hired me called Intervoice. They had bought a company called Bright Systems, and so they did the IVRs. Press one for your account balance. This is for the internet.
Right.
That's how old I am, right? Enter your account number. We did voice recognition
You look
too.
great.
Thanks, man. And yeah, send you the check later. And and I was working in Australia. I was opening the Australian New Zealand arm, and I fell in love with text messaging. I thought it was a great way to deliver information, and I was actually working on a project for Foxtel, the Fox cable arm in Australia, and they were spending $8 to send out a late, hey, we're canceling notification, we're canceling your cable.
Right.
And this is 98, 99. And I fell in love with text messaging as a delivery service. And I said, why don't you send them a text, right? This is cheaper and blah, blah, blah. And I also wanted to do something with recurring revenue. And I was also working with British Telecom and a telecommunications provider in Australia that British Telecom was reselling the Intervoice Bright platform, and they were getting a recurring revenue. So I came up with the idea of being able to send a text message from an application, from Outlook. And so I got my development team, Tim Hunt and some other developers together, and we built Red Oxygen. The first Red Oxygen was allowing to send a text message from Outlook to the person's phone, and the person can reply back into Outlook.
Awesome. Awesome.
And this was before the carriers even open up their SMSCs. So we literally had a laptop with a bunch of Nokia 5110s hanging off of it because the SMSCs had not opened up their SMPP interfaces. And that's how it started. And we thought we'd sell this to the mobile operators. And we initially got some traction with Swisscom and Vodafone and Beeline and Bitte and so forth. And we got some traction. We thought that was going to be our distribution model. And then we kind of realized, pivoted again, thinking that, hey, we'll just build amazing off-the-shelf components
Absolutely.
for Outlook or Gmail or Excel or SharePoint, and people come to us to send from an existing application. And
Right.
there is a market for that. But we've always kind of stayed away from the API realm because we didn't have something unique. We could be, hey, we're the cheapest. And that's kind of a race to the bottom, the Twilio and Plivo and
Right.
Bandwidth, Cinch of the world. But now, 2022, roll back forward 22 years now, the carriers have set up a new regulatory body called the Campaign Registry, which is requiring every application to person messaging to be registered with this governing body. You have to register your EIN, your DBA. That's run up against the IRS database. What is your address? What is your website?
Mm.
Do you have a privacy policy in your website? What is the content of your message? Who are you texting? Why are you texting? Blah, blah,
Wow.
blah.
Wow.
And you are vetted. So you got to pay a vetting fee. And then after you are approved, then you got to pay a monthly campaign fee. Then you got to pay a per message fee to the carriers, right? In addition to your traditional CPaaS provider, whether it's Twilio or Red Oxygen or Cinch or whoever. And And this is incredibly complex. The bigger players sending millions of messages, the Ubers of the world, they're going to be fine because they have compliance people, they have delivery people, they can manage this. It's all the SMBs that are buying their text messages from their software vendor, from their
Mhm.
CRM software vendor.
Mhm.
This CRM software vendor either has to write a red oxygen management system and billing engine and delivery engine, or they need to partner with us. Because if you don't and you're not compliant, your traffic's going to get blocked. And this is happening today.
Sure.
And you may not even know your traffic is getting blocked, right? Because what happened early on in the industry, the Twilios, you drive down the highway 101 in Silicon Valley, and what do you see? Twilio, ask your developer, right? And they've done a fantastic job. I'm not saying anything disparaging of Twilio. I love Twilio. But that developer doesn't give a rat's ass about compliance or billing. They just said, hey, I got it to work. I got 10 other projects I got to work on, right?
Right.
So their awareness needs to happen around this issue. And also, how are they going to pay for this? So now all of a sudden, your text messaging bill, maybe you're an ISV and you were spending $5 a month per user per month, right? Now it's $20 a month by the
Right.
time you throw campaign fees, um, carrier fees, per message fees, and so forth. So hey, give us your customers, give us your 1,000 doctors' offices. We'll make sure every doctor's office is Campaign Registry compliant, right? We'll make sure they get a Campaign Registry ID. We'll make sure their message content is compliant. We'll do a message content audit, right? So one thing the Campaign Registry does, like, hey, do you have a privacy policy on your website? We'll help them with that. Do you have an opt-out? If you have a URL in your message, does it relate to the brand? And if it doesn't, you can't put a bit.ly URL in there, right? And they will block you. I mean, they blocked one of our customers. They're kind of well known in the US. They're called Harvard, right? They're going to block Harvard. They're going to block you, right?
Right.
And another problem you're going to have to do is we're going to help manage your throughput, right? So if in T-Mobile will manage the throughput and put throttling at 2,500, AT&T will throttle it based on the campaign. We're going to help you manage this process. Another thing T-Mobile has floated, they haven't done this, but they want to fine users $250. They don't use their network every 60 days. Well, what network, what doctor's office, dentist office, gym, restaurant is going to know? Zero, right? I mean, we are also lobbying to get the FCC to take this over because you're seeing, industry regulations, they're just making stuff up, right, as
Right.
they go along. We need to get some consistency. We need to get some transparency. And we're also seeing blocking in certain industries, right? Like the marijuana industry is legal in California. Well, they're not allowed to use the networks, right? Well, it's a legal business. They pay taxes, right? But they're being discriminated against, right? So, there's lots of things there's a lot of landmines in here. We're here to help. We know this better than anybody else because we've been doing longer than anybody else,
Yeah.
right? These
Yeah. That's
gray
the
hairs.
one thing. The one thing that when I talk to you, Tom, I remember the problem is so big. How do you focus on customer? Like, so there's so many customer segments. I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking everybody has an SMS problem. Big
Sure.
companies, small companies. You could talk to the vendors. You could work with the software providers. Like, how do you focus? Like, or where are you focused? Like in terms of your market?
Well, right now, we're just busy getting to AWS because right now, our traffic, we're maxed out. We're having record revenue, record traffic, but we literally can't take on any more customers right now because our legacy system under Oracle can't handle the traffic, right? So
Right.
we're almost there, almost there, almost there, almost there.
Nice.
But then we're going to partner. We've set up a formal partnership with Telnix. We're working on partnerships with Bandwidth and Twilio, and we're also working with these ISVs. And I mean, trade shows like SaaS Open and SaaStr need to be broadcasting this from the high tops. Like, hey, this is happening. This is going to affect 90% of your people attending this market, right?
Mhm.
This trade show. So we're working with them. We're trying to do a bit more PR. We're trying to do more podcasts like this to educate the market of the complexities of the need and how we can help, right? So, but the media right now is all focused on TikTok or iMessage, right? And you saw the lawsuit against um, uh, or the potential banning of TikTok.
Right.
Um, and there a lot of the anger is the fact that it's owned by the Chinese, right?
Right.
Okay, fair enough. But did you know the campaign registry is owned by the Indians, right? If we're gonna have these conversations, let's have these conversations and let's set some ground rules about digital regulation. And if you're gonna classify text messaging as a data service, well, isn't Twitter a data service? Isn't Facebook a data service? Are they going to be held liable and accountable for their customers' content and we are and they're not? Where's the fairness in that? Right. And then what if they send the messages via WhatsApp, right? Which is a Facebook product, right? So, we need to have this conversation. We don't need to be targeting individual companies or individual applications. We need to have a broader conversation and set some standards, whether it's text messaging, TikTok, or iMessage. Like, let's have these conversations.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
it's
all around.
amazing to me. It's amazing to me because you've been doing it, doing it for like 27 years. What I'm trying to understand is, I mean, you're obviously the industry leader, right? Are there other
Not revenue, no, but we
so how
definitely
does that
not.
work? What are the competitor? Like, so I was trying to understand like,
The problem is, so a lot of them, got VC funding. We never received outside funding, so we're a lot smaller than a lot of people. We've all a lot of different knowledge set and different skill set, but we've also been selling to the SMBs for 24 years, right? So we get their problem. We get how they get confused. We get these end users. So the market's shifting. We're ready for it, and we look forward to a fantastic um, later half of 2024 and 2025, because we think it's going to be a blowout year for us. But also, let's have these conversations, right? Let's
yeah.
and it is I'm not mad that the campaign registry is requiring this. I think we need to clean up the town square because it's stopping spam, right? And they're not, fleecing your grandma to saying they're Bank of America and you click on the link and they steal your credit card information or whatever, right? And we need to have these conversations. But this needs to be a broader national conversation, and we need to have the FCC involved.
Yeah, I mean, so in terms of the competition out there and what you're doing, you said you're focusing the SMBs. Obviously, it's a lot of smaller deals. Do you do through do you have like a large partner channel? Like, is there
So,
how does that
well,
work?
our first partnership is on Telnex, right? So they're a CPaaS provider, and they're going to refer their SMS customers to us.
Hmm.
We'll help them get compliant. So whether it's a doctor's office software, gym software, dance studio software, give us your customers. We're also going to add AI in here to help automate this process. One is to, let's say they signed up for a two-factor authentication message, and someone from shipping starts sending text message like notifications of shipping. That's not spam, right? You have a relationship with this person, but it's not approved in the campaign registry. So the AI would start initiate that campaign registry certification process,
Yeah.
and help automate that and help automate to make sure that they stay compliant, and message verification. So this is a good use case for AI, and even AI as far as like message auditing or message recommendations.
Ah, okay.
And also because we have millions and millions, millions, and billions of message content, we can filter that and build that AI agent better than anybody else because we've been doing it longer than anybody else. So we've got history. We understand what message content is.
So the customer that I'm hearing ultimately, that's why you're at SaaStr and SaaS Open, these places, is ultimately you're selling to the SaaS, the ISV
Mhm.
that has messaging SMS built in their platform.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they sell that to, the travel agency, the gym, the vet, the dog walker software,
Yeah.
all of these people. right?
I
I
have
mean,
an idea. I have an idea for you. I'm going to probably give you an introduction. So there's a lot of SEO companies that like SEO companies that work with niche, like doctors' offices,
yeah.
chiropractors' offices, like, and basically they might be able to have a competitive advantage if they offer a solution. Like I'm just thinking that I'm going to introduce you to this.
But the only thing is we'll have to integrate with their software. So whatever their software is sending the messages. So
Got it.
I was talking to an investor actually at the SaaS Open last year, right? And I met with, we're having breakfast, whatever, in the open area in New York, and was pitching, and this guy comes in, this New York accent, he's like, "Fucking hey, yeah, my messages were getting blocked, da, da, da." And I'm like, yes, exactly. The investor's like, was he a plant? I'm like, I swear to God, no, he wasn't.
That's
Um,
funny.
but I mean, the problem is, Twilio selling to the developer, Bandwidth is selling to the developer, the same developers, right? And the developer is literally probably deleting their messages, right? Unless there's a blocking or something happening, like they don't know, they don't care. Hey, it was working 6 months ago. Why am I worried about this? I had literally have 20 other things I need to get done today. And so there's a big disconnect between senior management and the development team, right?
Right.
And because most of those organizations don't have relationships with other people in the organization, they're not getting that message through. And so they don't even know that this is a problem, right? And so, anyways, this investor group was like, he was trying to pitch, nail salon software. And I said, he goes, "Do you mean all these nail salons have got to be registered with this?" Yeah, they do. And the problem is, let's say the nail salon software has got, text messaging component, and Janet gets her text message every Tuesday at 10 and she goes in Wednesday at 10, right? Well, she might even tell the girl doing her nails, say, "Hey, I never got the text message." And the girl will be like, "What? I don't know. I have no idea what the
Right.
text message is.
Right.
I don't." Or they may see a drop in attendance, or they may have more no-shows because they don't know why, right? Because they're not monitoring their text messages
Yeah.
because
They
their
don't know what
text,
their software, they have no idea what their software is doing.
they don't know what their software is doing, and nor do they care. Like their nail salon, right? And the guy who probably wrote the application, if he's in the United States, right, is he actually looking at this? Or it could have been just a one-off project he did, and he's off on another contract, right?
Yeah. I mean, I got so many questions. I mean, we're going through this. I got to tell you, you're one of the most animated, like you're like me, Tom, we're like animated best guests I've had.
Thanks.
So, in terms of the challenges that you face, so tell the audience, I mean, you have so many challenges. What would you say are the top 2 or 3 biggest challenges you faced in your journey, and how did you overcome them?
Well, early on we started, people didn't know what text messaging was, right? And I couldn't even bring it to the United States because the US was so far behind the rest of the world with SMS adoption because of deregulation, right?
Right.
So you couldn't send a text message from one network to another network until around 2008, 2009, right? In
Wow.
fact, I'll tell you a funny story. So we were on the Microsoft stand at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. And Microsoft heard, oh, they got us in there, and they're like, "Wow, this is amazing." The Microsoft product manager for Office was texting his brother-in-law in Singapore, and the Singaporean brother-in-law was texting back, and he goes, "Wow, this is amazing." It's 2003. We want to put this in Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer's desktop, and we want to text everybody in the audience. And I said, he says, "It works all over the world." I said, "Yeah, it does, but not Seattle." He goes, "What do you mean?"
Right.
He said, "No, the US had adopted, TDMA and IDEN, CDMA, only VoiceStream at the time, old enough to remember VoiceStream, of course, T-Mobile, was the only GSM network there when they were 1900 Spectrum." So I had to tell them, I said, "You can install it, but I can't guarantee unless I know what network they're on, it's going to show up," because you couldn't text in the United States for like a
Right.
decade,
It's
right?
crazy. It's crazy.
Which we couldn't. Even though I'm an American, I started the company. I was right. I couldn't bring my company here till 2010,
That's
2009.
amazing. That's amazing.
But we're seeing this type of regulations. These governing bodies are popping up all over the country, all over the world. China has one, obviously, but India has one, but it's on blockchain, which is kind of cool. Singapore is getting one. Australia's getting one. like I made some recommendations to the ACMA as far as what I would do differently than what's happening with the campaign registry in the United States. And they're Aussie, so they'll probably do it better, because they're probably more pragmatic and they think of things through. We're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
why does T-Mobile going to fine people $250 every 60 days they don't use their network, right? And T-Mobile was the worst because they wanted to fine everybody 50. They wanted to charge everybody $50 for a setup fee. So let's say you're on a software company, they got rid of that charge. But like, there's so many inconsistencies. There's just some product manager just pulls this. No, there's like all these ripples and implications to the SMB.
So this has been a great, we're jamming through like 30 minutes here. So what are the 2 or 3 biggest piece of advice? Because there's a lot of people that are going to watch this that are going to be early stage startups. Like what are the biggest piece of advice you would give these?
Best advice I got was get somebody with gray hair that you respect, not only from a business perspective, like, oh, he's rich, he's well connected, yeah, whatever. Like, get somebody you respect morally,
Right.
that you think that they are ethically, morally, that they're an upstanding person, right? They're going to be there for you. One of the problems you see as a startup is because you don't see the forest from the trees. You get so into it and you're just, ooh, and you need that guidance. So find somebody with gray hair, find
I love
somebody
it.
with guidance, find somebody who's older than you, that maybe it's a father, and they don't necessarily have to, hopefully they're in your industry. Hopefully they can help you with contacts. But they may just be a moral guidance, right?
Totally.
And just a sounding board. So, my parents passed like 27 years ago. So I didn't have that where I could banter off my father or whatever. So I luckily my he's been like my surrogate father. He's been great. He's guided me through, tumultuous times with the business and do it. If you listen to one thing and you do that and it doesn't cost you anything,
Yeah.
maybe give them some shares, give them a piece of the business. Find something
We take it one step further, like create an advisory board. Right. And it's like so important because you're dealing with crap all the time and you need to talk to somebody. Like literally just need to talk to somebody. I totally agree with you. I thought you said great hair because you have great hair. So when you said gray
gray
hair,
hair,
it's like, oh,
gray hair,
gray hair.
gray hair.
So Tom, this has been
Man,
unbelievable.
yeah, I
Look at
haven't had any plugs or
look at
anything.
this hair. Look at this hair this guy has.
I know,
So Tom,
man.
It's been great. It's been a great show. Thanks a lot for coming. Stay on for a second. We'll debrief. So thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you more.
Great. Thank you.
All right, great.